Hey, now, if you are a breadwinner, what is a breadwinner? A breadwinner is somebody who everybody at his home relies on. You are the person who they depend on. You are the provider. You pay the school fees, you pay for the food, you pay for the house rent, for the transport, for everything. You are that kind of an individual who everyone looks upon. That is a breadwinner. Now, these are 8 things that I want you to do. And by the way, you'll thank me later. This is that video you say like, guess what? I don't love watching videos, but I ought to watch this one because the number of calls from the clients that I do receive from people, maybe you are in Gulf, maybe you are in outside the country, and everyone back at home, they're relying on you. They're looking upon you. This is what you're supposed to do. All right? Let's get into the business, okay? Now, but allow me to let you know this, but I'm going to share this information with you for free on this video. And the only thing that I want from you as a, sort of a reward or something like an appreciation is to not send me money. No. Just to like this video. Just hit that like button. Does not cost you anything. And also down below there is a small button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button. And also comment down below. Tell me what you think. Let's go to the point. Now, point number 1. If there is something that you ought to do right now is communicate. Communication, okay? And by the way, you can communicate when you are saying no. In simple terms, I was about to say learn to say no, but the point is this: communication when saying no. Obviously, you can't say no without communicating. So the first thing that you ought to have is communication. Communicate to them. Tell them. You see, there is nothing, sort of mesmerizing when you are the provider and everyone back at home think like you have it. Even when you tell them you do not have it, everyone think like, hey, you are denying them. So when you communicate, it's good when they know, hey, it is true when you say you do not have, you do not have. When you say, hey, I do have, but I won't channel my money towards that. For example, someone can ask you, hey, buy me this, and then you realize that this particular point, that's not a priority. You tell them there is money, yes, that's not something to hide, but I won't do exactly that. Why? Because this one and this one is not adding up well. And if you actually learn to be an individual who communicates, and remember one thing I always tell people, over 75% of divorces that people experience, it is because of finance. So learn to communicate, and you can communicate when you are saying no, right? Or when you say yes. You'll be respected on that. That's the very first thing that you're supposed to understand. Number 2, if you are a breadwinner, remember one thing, that first thing that you're supposed to do is this, is that have emergency fund, okay? And by the way, when you talk about communication, you have to communication about the goals of the family, about the expectations of the family. For example, maybe let's say you got fired. See, it is good they know that you got fired. Even if you don't get any help, at least they have it at the back of their head. Hey, you know what? Our mom was fired, our dad was fired, our uncle was fired, or maybe there was a reduction in terms of the income and all those kind of things, okay? You may not say the actual figure, but say, hey, there's somebody just meant the jobs and what have you. Number 2, have emergency fund. Have emergency fund. You see, some people do not understand one thing. If you have yourself a quote unquote, in Africa we sort of like call it like a hidden money somewhere. Hey, I have some money that I've hid somewhere just because in case of my family ask me something and maybe I do not have a job as of now. You never know. For example, and I keep on repeating this point, COVID-19 taught us a lesson. You ought to have yourself an emergency fund, kept somewhere. So have yourself an emergency fund, because remember one thing, you are the breadwinner. They believe you have it. Maybe you are the father, maybe you are the mother, people understand like you must have it. So the thing is this, maybe you got fired or something happened, okay? Maybe there was a sort of a retrenchment. So it's good to have that emergency fund so that you can keep on sustaining the bills before you actually look for another way how you can be able to sustain for them. If you have small kids cannot understand that you do not have money, therefore they have to go hungry. They cannot be able to negotiate with them, okay? Now, the other thing that you're supposed to have as far as this, as far as you being a breadwinner, is to do what we call the financial planning. You must have what we call a financial planning. What do I mean by that? Financial planning is whereby you ought to make sure that the way you are using your money, it's actually in a way that is actually responsible. In simple terms, I could have said the budget, but budget sounds more of a common term. So financial planning is when you know, hey, guess what? If I go ahead and be able to pay the school fees entirely for this year, I'll be able to have the breathability allowance for me to focus towards me building my dream home or our dream home. Okay, by the way, if I go again and be able to do something something called farming this time round, if I can be able to lease some land somewhere and do the farming, I can be able to generate this amount of income, therefore I can be able to sustain this. Okay, by the way, if I go ahead and maybe open a business for my family, then I can be able to do this and this. Okay, fine. If I be able to channel this amount of money towards entertainment, hey, holidays is coming. Holidays are always there. We have to celebrate our anniversaries. If you guys do so, then I have to channel a certain amount of money towards the development, towards an income, towards, you already know, you have what you call the financial planning. Don't let things just hit you unexpectedly. Hey, all of a sudden the kid's birthday is here, you do not have the money, and they're asking you, hey, daddy, mommy, hey, we have to celebrate the birthday and what have you. You didn't have the money. It is good to make sure that you have the financial planning. And I always tell people, we are getting to the 2024. Depends on when you're watching the video. I'm making this video, December of 2023. Now, it's good to have yourself the diary, and you mark those dates, specific dates when you know money is expected, and then you put aside that money. That fund, we usually call it a sinking fund. You already anticipate for something to happen in that particular session. That way you won't act surprisingly. That is what we call financial planning. All right. And number four, as we progress, number four is actually financial reviews. There's something called financial reviews. Okay. Even a country does what we call the financial reviews. For example, we may realize that a country did set aside a certain amount of money for education, but they have to review it. Maybe the money was not enough, or maybe it was excess or something of sort. So even you're so good to have the financial reviews in your home as the breadwinner, because at the end of the day, this money comes from your pocket. You have to understand one thing. Hey, guess what? Okay, fine. As the provider, then I have to understand one thing. Okay, maybe let's say we've been channeling a certain amount of money towards an entertainment. Maybe that money has not been enough. You can maybe expand the basket, or maybe we've been channeling a certain amount of money towards, let's say, entertainment, and it's actually in excess. We can be able to slash that budget, channel towards that money in terms of the investment for the sake of this. Let's say as a family, we are having a dream of owning ourselves a home, and again, there's some of the things that we are doing with our money that we can shake them off and channel that amount of money towards us, the acquisition of that specific dream house that we want. It's good to have what we call the financial reviews. And I always tell people, if your couple sit down with your whatever and get to understand and talk about, hey, this amount of money we pay towards our rent, is there something that we can be able to do and adjust on this? Okay, how much do we show channel towards the food? Okay, is there something that we can do about this? Okay, fine. If this is amount of money we channel towards transport, by the way, do you think it can be of importance if maybe you acquire our own car? Maybe you can save on this, or maybe, you see, it's good to sit down and have what you call the financial reviews about your life each and every time, because there's something that people disregard. There was a time you did yourself a budget when you were alone. Now you're not alone. You're married. Now after some times you'll be having a kid. After another time you'll be having some kids. So if you don't adjust yourself, you don't have your what you call the financial reviews, you actually never even realize that increment in terms of the salary that you're getting from the job. Because I remember the first job that you had is you are actually being paid differently from that specific job. So it's good to have a financial review. And number five, for this regard, is called, we call a delegation of responsibility. Learn to delegate responsibilities. Delegate what? Delegate responsibilities. Okay. Now, if you learn to delegate, simply means that if you delegate them, it means that you have a lot of things that you ought to do. Remember, you are the breadwinner. This is what we're talking about. You have a lot of things that you have to do out there. So if you keep on amassing everything by yourself, if you have a construction that is going on, you're the person who is looking for the masonry, you're the person who is paying the plumbers, the electricians and everything, the transport. If you have a business, you have to communicate with the people who you have employed. Back at home, there are calls coming in from your wife, from your children. Back at you're being called by the teachers because the school ought to be open. You have not paid your school fees. You have to be paid by the insurance company. You see, if you have all those things in your head and you're just alone and you're not delegating these responsibilities, you're gonna crash yourself. You're gonna be in a situation whereby you cannot be able even to operate at optimum. And this is where you get yourself some of the non-communicable diseases. You get yourself things like the blood pressure. You get yourself psychological sort of a disorder because you're not even stable. Learn to delegate. That is for personal point. And also when you actually learn to delegate these responsibilities to them, you're also making them responsible people, making them responsible citizens. If it's about the the kids, you actually assign them some duties. They actually go ahead and be able to do something that can be able to help them as they grow in the future. That is exactly what you do in life so that you can be able to progress to the next level. If you teach these kids how to operate this, if you assign your kid, you can tell them, hey, make sure that you clean your bedroom, clean the other bedroom, and make sure that you do the utensils and all those kind of things. You're actually building that responsibility, accountability from that kid, and be able to grow with that character as you move to the next level. Even when you invest, when these kids are taking over from you, therefore they have already been inculcated that character of responsibility or being responsible inside of them. Am I making something? Let's go to the point number 6. The point number 6 is none other than self-care. It is good to self-care, all right? And I know when I say self-care, you're now laughing. Yeah, now that's the point. That's the point I was waiting. Fine. To self-care is this situation whereby, hey, guess what? You are the biggest asset that you have by yourself that makes you money. I mean, let's say for example, somebody like Jeff Bezos or somebody like Elon Musk. Okay, that is the brainchild behind that success of that given company. So that guy ought to take care of themselves because that's an individual whom everything revolves around him. Okay, the same case applies to your house. You are the person who they eat, they drink, they do everything and anything. Don't intoxicate yourself out there. You're drinking uncontrollably out there. What if, let's say, you are a surveyor, you are an engineer, and maybe you have a housewife who is not working out there, of which I do not really advocate. So the point is this. Now, if you go out there, maybe you are out of the intoxication, you get yourself injured, meaning you do go to job, meaning you won't get any income, meaning you're putting your family at a crisis. You get what I'm saying? So it is good to self-care yourself. Self-care also meaning taking care of yourself in terms of the health and also making sure that at least you entertain yourself. Sometimes it's good to visit these therapeutic areas where you talk to people, you relax, you go visit a cool ambience place whereby, they just, birds, just relax, just clear your thoughts and all those kind of things so that by the time now you're showing up the next week, now you are rejuvenated and you can be able to go ahead and work by yourself. So if maybe you load yourself a lot of things, you do not advocate the self-care, at the same time you ain't gonna be actually operating at optimum. Okay. The other one is about what we call seeking support. You seek support. Seek support. All right? Seek support when necessary. Obviously, that's what I mean. When necessary. When necessary. Okay? At this particular point, I mean like this. Everyone out there is a time when they need a support. Don't kill yourself by having all those things by yourself. If something is beyond you, you ought to seek support from somewhere. Okay? You have to do exactly that. If you've realized you're in a situation whereby, hey, the support here can stretch all the way from social support, can be spiritual support, can be a financial support, can be any kind of a support that is out there, okay? Can be also a health support or something of sort. Maybe let's say you injured your foot, you just want to take care of yourself, you're not a doctor, go seek support. Don't disregard it. Maybe let's say you have some sort of cash crunch somewhere. If you can be able to borrow, if maybe you can ask your wife, hey, do you have some savings by yourself? Maybe you can be able to support you and maybe I'll return the money. And by the way, whenever and ever you borrow money from your wife, make sure that you return money. Never, ever disregard just because their wives don't return the money. Make sure that you return that money. Make sure that at least you seek support and make sure at least you are out there. Just because you say, hey, help me here, does not make you any weak. I know men usually have this problem of asking support or something or something. Does not disqualify you from being a strong individual. No, go out there and seek support. All right. And the last one, our brothers and sisters who are breadwinners, the last one is actually financial education for your family. Have what we call financial education. Financial education. It is good when they understand what does it take to make 20,000. What does it take to actually make that 3,000, 2,000, a 1K, 3, whichever the amount of money. Always learn to make sure that you attach values to them. Make sure that they understand the aspect of attaching value to any amount of money that you're making out there. Once you do exactly this, I'm repeating this point, you're making sure that at least you're bringing up responsible people who can be able to manage by themselves and they can be able to grow to the next level. You can just imagine this, whatever they want and whatever they want, you just provide. They think like this world is sort of an utopian place when everything that you need, you just actually get it out there. No, sometimes it goes south, okay? And we already know that, okay? And the point is this, make sure that at least you let them understand. Sometimes, in this life, you ought to be responsible for your life. Nobody is actually responsible for your life. It is by yourself as you move to the next level. All right? Guess what, guys? That marks the end of my videos, or rather the end of this video, but not the end of me posting a video each and every time. That's why you ought to subscribe to this channel, because I do upload this kind of videos each and every day. Can you imagine this? Getting these gigs each and every day. So like this video and also comment down below. Tell me what you think again. Maybe there's a point that I've left, and tell me what exactly we can be able to do the breadwinners. We have to save these breadwinners of ours. All right. So anyway, guys, I also offer what you call a personal, or personal financial consultation, and you can pick my number from the description of this specific video. Give me a call, and I usually charge for just a cup of coffee's price, okay? And also have booklets about investments. If you want to get yourself into T-bills, treasury bonds, stocks, all those kind of areas, money market fund or mutual funds or unit trust, I have all those booklets ready for you. Pick that number, shoot me a text on my WhatsApp, I send you a soft copy. Goes for only 280 Kenyan shillings. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.